I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. Another bombshell from Congressman Leandro Leviste, the Batangas 1st District Representative, claims some newly appointed public works officials are somehow linked to government contractors. DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon urges Leviste to name names, saying he will personally investigate the claims and remove any official found to have conflicts of interest. Let's get on point with DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon. Secretary, good to have you again. Welcome to the show and thank you so much for your time.
Good evening, Pinky. Thank you very much for having me.
Sec Vince, have you spoken to Congressman Leandro Leviste regarding this allegation of his that some of the new members that you swore in are actually either contractors, connected to contractors, or humihingi po sa mga contractors?
I have not, Pinky, but as I said yesterday and as I said today, that under clear directives and instructions from the President, our directive is to clean up the DPWH from top to bottom. And we will not tolerate any, even just a whiff of irregularity in the department. That includes people who have been in the department for the longest time, who have left the department, former officials of the department, and more importantly even, people that we ourselves have brought in. No one is exempted. Wala tayong sisinuhin dito. Kung merong ebidensya at merong kahit na maliit na whiff lang ng posibleng irregularidad, action po tayo ng mabilis. And that is what we did today. Because after my request from Congressman Leviste, and again, I thank him for his openness and transparency in calling out some people, even those that we have brought in. He named a undersecretary today, Undersecretary R.A. Perez, and I immediately, once I found out, confronted Undersecretary Perez about it and informed him that I have to investigate this myself. No, because he has been named, even if Congressman Leviste himself said that this was only based on rumor and some things that he heard or from previous news items over the last years. I told Undersecretary Perez that needs a thorough and in-depth investigation. In fairness to Undersecretary Perez, now former Undersecretary Perez, he, upon meeting with me today, submitted his irrevocable resignation, and I told him okay, and I will send this now to the Office of the President, and I'm recommending its acceptance.
So why did he, Sec Vince? You were saying that the allegation of Congressman Leandro Leviste was based on kwento sa kanya, hindi ho ba? And I recall in your previous press conference, you said that you wanted to speak to Congressman Leandro Leviste. You thanked him, but you wanted to get more information about it. Why would Undersecretary R.A. Perez just submit his irrevocable resignation? What does that mean?
I think it means, number one, he told me himself that he does not want to be a burden on the efforts. Because, you know, Pinky, you have to understand, no? I mean, these people who we asked to join us, including former Undersecretary Perez, came from the private sector. They had very simple, peaceful lives in the private sector. Obviously, they were paid much better in the private sector than in government. So he said that I don't want to be a burden to the efforts of cleaning up DPWH. And unfortunately, you know, in this very toxic environment, even just any mention of your name or even any rumor, then it becomes perceived as true.
Gospel
and he
truth.
He did not want to be a burden to the efforts. That's why, and in fairness to you know, I think we sometimes, you know, there are very few people I think who have joined government who just say because of delicadeza or because of, they don't want to be a burden, they just they resign. And I think that is why former Undersecretary Perez resigned, is because he didn't want to be a burden and a stumbling block to whatever we need to do in DPWH.
Okay, he didn't want to be a burden. That's why he tendered his irrevocable resignation. But does that taint his name, sir? Does that put to question the kind of an individual that you brought in, the DPWH? On the flip side, was it also fair for someone like former Undersecretary Perez to have just been alleged to either be a contractor, be connected to a contractor, or humihingi sa contractor?
Again, no, unfortunately, Pinky, in a environment such as this, in a very highly charged and toxic environment, unfortunately, you get named and people think you're guilty of whatever. No, and I think Undersecretary Perez just said that he doesn't want to be a burden to that. He does not want to besmirch the reform efforts that we're trying to do in DPWH. That's why he resigned. But it does not mean that we will not investigate this. We will continue the investigation even if Undersecretary Perez has already resigned irrevocably. But I think what's important here, I think, and this is something that I think everyone has to really take pause and really think about, that reform and changes that need to be made, especially in this environment, need to be based on facts, on evidence, and on transparency. It's very difficult to base anything on just, haka-haka, or rumors, or sinabi ni ganito, sinabi ni ganyan. That's why I think the president, in understanding the situation, formed an independent institution like the ICI, because we need to make the process based on facts and evidence.
Okay, fair enough, sir.
I think, and that's what we're going to do.
But fair enough, sir, as I mentioned a while ago, but didn't you succumb to that? Because if you're saying that all these allegations should not be haka-haka, dapat it's based on facts and it's based on evidence. And I understand, sir, that the former Undersecretary said he didn't want to be a burden, but there were no facts yet, nor evidence presented against the former Undersecretary.
I understand, but resignation, Pinky, is a personal decision. It's a personal decision. It's a, and I think it is. In fairness to him, I know very, very few people in government that actually resign just like that, because he doesn't want to be a burden. No, and I think that is something that we should take into account. But it is a personal decision, and since it was an irrevocable decision, and I told him very clearly that I was going to have to investigate this, but he said, "Yes, please continue, but I will resign irrevocably."
But how? Yes,
that is something that is personal to him, Pinky. And I guess we just have to respect him for that.
Yeah. I was looking, well, that's a point that you were making. No? For the most part, when there are allegations like these, they have to be, number one, substantiated, for the most part, hindi ho ba, before somebody actually resigns. Because in most cases, an allegation is made, and it's still an allegation. For the most part, nga, people actually stay, hindi ho ba, in their respective positions. So this is a complete turnaround.
Pinky, in other countries, like Japan and other cultures, any small allegation, I mean, sometimes people do more than resign. I mean, I know you know what I mean, right? Other cultures. Some people just, sometimes take their own life because it damages their honor. So I think, like you said, this seldom happens. Okay. But, it's a personal decision on his part.
All right. But does this affect the other people, sir, that you brought in the DPWH?
Alam mo, ang mga kasama natin sa DPWH, tao lang naman yan, Pinky. Tao lang ako. Di ba? Siyempre may epekto yan. No? First of all, it's very, very hard to get good people in government. First and foremost. Especially if you're going to try to attract them from the private sector. But people who join government must understand that this sort of intrigue or these things that happen, especially in an environment like this, this is normal, Pinky, and you need to have the strength of resolve to just power through and do what you have to do. And I just spoke to the team today. In fact, we're in a strategic planning session here in Pampanga with the entire team, and I had to obviously speak to them and tell them this happened. But you know, the mission continues and the work must continue because the president is expecting us to clean up the DPWH from top to bottom, and we will not shirk from that responsibility.
Sec Vince, are you worried that there could be other members of your team that could be alleged to have had this similar claim by Congressman Leandro Leviste? I mean, it could possibly not just be the former Undersecretary Perez.
Am I worried? Not really, because I've been in government for so long to understand that this is just how it is. Unfortunately, no, it is how it is. But it comes with the territory. Once you occupy a public position,
okay,
open book, and you are always under the microscope. And I told simply, we focus on the job, and let's just make sure that we follow regulation, follow the law.
Okay,
that's it.
Sec Vince, just all right. Just a follow up. No, I need to go on a break. But when the congressman was on his press conference, there was a person who called from the DPWH. When I watched it, it was obviously not you. Kasi may sinabi siyang, not the exact words, pero parang, Papa, sabihin natin or iparating mo yan kay DPWH Sec Vince. So, obviously, hindi po kayo yung kausap niya. Do you know sino po yung tumawag kay Congressman Leandro Leviste?
I asked someone from the staff to call him, someone that Congressman Leviste knows. And I just asked, please ask the congressman to tell me who it is and give me some details. That's all. And I'm very happy again. I'm very happy that Congressman Leviste gave the name and gave some indication of his allegations and suspicions, and we will act accordingly, and we have acted accordingly already, and we will investigate this to the fullest.
We'll be taking a very short break. We'll continue our discussion with DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon when we return. Stay tuned. This is On Point. Still with us, DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon. Secretary, you spoke to Ombudsman Boying Remulla last Wednesday about the issue on this decision of non-cooperation by the Disaya couple. Pinanood ko po yung inyong press conference and sabi niyo pa nga doon, and I quote, nakakatawa nga na sila pa ang hindi na willing mag-cooperate, ang dami pa nilang kaso. What really is the net effect of their decision to not cooperate with the ICI?
I'm not a lawyer, Pinky, but to me, the effect, as far as DPWH is concerned, we already have filed one case against them. That is the first case in Bulacan. And to me, that has no effect because that case is an open and shut case. And they are, in our opinion, guilty of stealing the people's money in those projects in Bulacan. And their non-cooperation with ICI, to me, I think, is immaterial in that case. Because that case has already been filed with the Ombudsman, and I've spoken to the Ombudsman. And the Ombudsman, they are already processing it. It is already going through the standard process of the Ombudsman. And once it gets filed in the Sandigan Bayan, which Ombudsman Boying said will be soon, since the case is non-bailable, they are going to jail.
Yeah.
It's simple as that.
Yeah. Just to give a little bit of a rundown, there was a case filed by the DPWH against them before the Office of the Ombudsman. Ito pong si DOJ din po, nag-submit din po ng mga papeles, mga dokumento sa Office of the Ombudsman the other day. That's why we spoke to Ombudsman Boying Remulla. Also recommending 5 cases dun po sa 1st District Engineering Office ng Bulacan. And that was that particular interview, sir, when I was speaking to the ombudsman, when I asked him, kasi parang sinasabi niya, it appears na meron pong pinoprotektahan itong mga Disaya, and then I asked him, and then he said, Senator Bongo, do you have that same information that the Discayas appear or apparently are protecting Senator Bongo because of the construction company of Senator Bongo's father?
First of all, again, no, we have to base everything on facts and evidence. And 2 days ago, I spoke to the ombudsman specifically about this, and he asked me to look at the contracts of the Disaya companies from 2016 onwards. Because, and this is a fact, during the Blue Ribbon hearings, the Discayas admitted in the Blue Ribbon hearing that they got bigger and more lucrative contracts 2016 onwards. That's why we are looking at that, and we are looking at the possible partnerships between the Disaya companies, the various Disaya companies, and CLTG Corporation, no, which allegedly has links to Senator Bongo or his family. So again, we are looking at those facts, and as the President keeps on repeating, walang sisinuhin, walang sasantuhin. Ito din ang sinabi ng ombudsman natin. And remember, the EO creating the ICI also said that we have to look at infrastructure projects dating 10 years back.
Yeah.
So that is what we are doing. And once we are ready with that report that we are right now working on and generating, we will be submitting this report in full to the Ombudsman as well as the ICI.
Will you be able to tell us how many contracts there are between the Discayas and the CLTG, sir? Since 2016.
We will definitely be able to give you that information once we have completed this, but it will not take long, Pinky.
All right.
Because everything is automated, especially now that we are about to launch our transparency portal that we show all projects from 2016 onwards. Even you, Pinky, or any of our citizens can do that. But we will be submitting this very soon to the Ombudsman and the ICI. Of
course, Secretary Vince, you do know some of the feedback or even reaction regarding yourself, Secretary Vince Dizon, under the Duterte administration. How well will you be able to look into this, and how transparent or even fair will a Secretary Vince Dizon be to someone like Senator Bongo?
Well, I said it yesterday and I will say it again today. Clearly, the President has told everybody, walang kamag-anak, walang kaibigan, walang kaalyado. And that goes for all of us, his cabinet members. We have to be of the same mindset as the President. The Ombudsman is of the same mindset, and I'm telling everyone that I am of the same mindset. But of course, Pinky, these are just words, Pinky. I think at the end of the day, we will all be judged by what we do, not by what we say. I can tell you, I will go after everyone and everything, wherever the evidence takes us. But that will only be proven to be true once we have submitted to the Ombudsman and to the ICI all the information they need in order to investigate and to file the necessary cases against anyone who is seen to be criminally liable in stealing the people's money. It is as simple as that, Pinky. You know, I can all say whatever we want here, but we will be judged by our actions. And I think in the next few weeks and the next few months, we will all be judged as such.
Even Senator Go had a reaction immediately when his name was mentioned. Sabi niya, hindi ko man kilala yung mga Discaya, yun nga po sabi niya. And sinabi niya na kahit po daw siya ay posibleng tumayong complainant dito sa mga, if there are issues or problems. Has there been any coordination, communication between your team or Senator Bongo or his staff?
No. None. You know, Pinky, again, no, everything that we're trying to do in ensuring accountability must be based on evidence. It must be based on fact. And the facts that we are trying to establish tries to answer a simple question. Meron bang relationship ang mga Disaya sa CLTG Corporation? It's a simple question. And the documents of the DPWH will show whether or not that is the case.
Okay.
And if that is the case, then that is a fact and that will be used as evidence.
That will have to move forward. All right.
It is as simple as that, Pinky. Walang ano yan, walang kulay yan, walang ano yan, walang kulay ng politika, fact lang yan.
Sec Vince, just on a last topic, no, we don't have enough time anymore. I'm also interested to find out about this restitution because you were already saying that ang bilin po sa inyo ni Pangulong Marcos ay mabawi ang pera the soonest possible time and as much as we can or as much as government can. Of course, there is this idea na kung sino man yung guilty or hindi man, ay itinatago na kahit papano yung kanilang pera para hindi na po mabawi. In terms of trying to get the people's money back, do you have a little bit of would you have an estimate so far? Because I know that you already filed a case against the Disayas. Meron na ho ba kayong nakikitang at least first batch or first phase or first installment ng pera na maaaring makuha ng Pilipinas, ng mga taxpayers, either through restitution or even through these insurance commissions?
Yeah. Unang-una, no, tama ka, sabi ng Pangulo, kailangan mabawi natin sa lalong madaling panahon ang pera ng bayan. Pero the President also told me to throw everything at them. To throw everything at them. Lahat ng batas na magagamit natin para maibalik ang pera ng bayan, kailangan natin gamitin. Kaya nagpapasalamat tayo sa ICI dahil nagpatawag po sila ng meeting ng, I think, 15 o mahigit 15 ahensya ng gobyerno kahapon. Nandun po ako. Nandun po, ang dami-daming ahensya pong nandun. At doon po namin lahat na-realize na madami po palang paraan para mabawi ang pera ng mga kababayan natin. Kasama na dyan yung sa AMLAC. Kaya alam niyo naman po, ilang linggo lang po ang nakalipas, nakipagtrabaho na po tayo sa AMLC para i-freeze ang asset. Dahil sabi mo nga, no, Pinky, ang unang gagawin ng ibang alam nilang guilty sila, itatago na nila yung pera nila, i-withdraw nila. Ang maganda dyan, marami na pong na-freeze na assets ang AMLAC. I think ang estimate nila is halos 5 billion ang value at mahigit 1,000 mga accounts at mga insurance policies ang na-freeze na. So yon, meron na tayong estimate na yon, no? Halos 5 billion yon. Alam nyo din po na sumulat kami sa CAAP para din pigilan ang pagbebenta ng mga air assets po ni former Congressman Zaldico.
Right.
No? Yan po ay ang estimate po ng CAAP dyan ay halos 5 billion din po yon. No? So doon pa lang po sa mga accounts pa lang na na-freeze initially ng AMLAC, pati yung mga eroplano at chopper na link kay former Congressman Zaldico at sa kanyang allegedly mga kumpanya, 10 billion na po yon. At tingin ko po, lalaki pa po ng lalaki yan. Dahil nga po, meron din tayong final na bid rigging cases sa PCC. 110 first offense, 110 million. Succeeding offenses up to 250 million. Bawat kontrata, Pinky. So you can just imagine, napakaraming kontrata ng mga Disaya, halimbawa, o ng SunWest Corporation, halimbawa. Lahat po yan kapag na-prove ang bid rigging, up to 250 million po. No? So yan po ang mga amounts. At meron pa pong isa na in-announce din ng ICI kahapon, nagsabi din po pala ang customs na pwede na rin po nilang i-auction, no? Isubasta yung mga sasakyan. No? Kasama na rin ata yung 2 sasakyan na nakapark sa parking lot mismo ng ICI na galing kay Bryce Hernandez, yung Lamborghini, tsaka yung isang mamahaling SUV. So, marami po ito, no? Daang milyon din po yun. No? So, yun po ang sinabi ng Pangulo. Kailangan sa lalong madaling panahon, maibalik natin ang pera ng mga kababayan natin.
DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon, sir, pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for your time.
Maraming salamat.
That's On Point. Join us again on Monday, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.